Firstborn children. Firstborn children often develop advantages linked to responsibility exposure earlier than their siblings. From the moment a second child arrives, the firstborn experiences a shift from being the sole recipient of parental attention to becoming a role model. This transition activates early social learning mechanisms tied to leadership, behavioral regulation, and accountability. Because parents typically practice their most structured expectations on their first child, firstborns are more likely to internalize rules quickly and operate comfortably within organized systems such as school hierarchies, workplaces, and institutional environments. Research in developmental psychology consistently shows that firstborns receive more one on one verbal interaction before siblings arrive. This early linguistic enrichment contributes to strong vocabulary development and communication confidence. Over time, this advantage supports persuasive ability, negotiation skill, and clarity of instruction, traits strongly associated with leadership roles. Another hidden advantage involves executive functioning. Firstborns are more frequently expected to monitor younger siblings, assist with routines, and model behavior. These expectations stimulate planning ability, impulse control, and long term thinking earlier than average. As adults, this often translates into stronger career organization, reliability under pressure, and preference for structured environments. Evolutionarily, firstborn children historically held inheritance priority in many cultures. This produced subtle selection pressures favoring responsibility, caution, and future planning. While modern families no longer rely on primogeniture systems in most regions, the behavioral imprint remains visible in personality trends. Firstborns frequently demonstrate persistence and achievement orientation because their developmental environment subtly reinforces competence signaling. There is also a neurological confidence advantage. Being the first experiment in parenting often means parents monitor milestones closely and respond quickly to development. This can create a stable attachment pattern associated with self efficacy and initiative. As adults, firstborns often step into mentorship positions naturally because they practice that role early in life. Secondborn children. Secondborn children develop a powerful adaptation advantage centered around flexibility. Unlike firstborns, they enter a social environment already occupied by another child. This immediately trains them to interpret hierarchy, negotiate space, and adapt behavior based on observation rather than instruction. Because secondborn children observe both parents and an older sibling simultaneously, they often develop strong social pattern recognition earlier than expected. They learn how authority operates indirectly rather than experiencing it exclusively. This creates a subtle advantage in diplomacy, cooperation, and group integration later in life. Secondborn children are also more likely to experiment with identity differentiation. Since the older sibling often occupies the responsible role, the secondborn frequently explores alternative strengths such as creativity, humor, athleticism, or emotional intelligence. This diversification strengthens adaptive thinking and resilience in unpredictable environments. Another hidden advantage is risk calibration. Secondborn children watch consequences happen to someone else first. This allows them to estimate boundaries efficiently. Instead of learning exclusively through trial and error, they learn through observational modeling. As adults, this contributes to calculated decision making and strategic experimentation. Anthropological studies suggest that later-born children historically increased group survival by expanding skill diversity within families. If one child specialized in leadership or protection, another specialized in exploration or cooperation. Secondborn adaptability reflects this evolutionary pattern and often results in stronger interpersonal intelligence. Middle children. Middle children develop one of the strongest negotiation advantages among all birth order positions. Positioned between older and younger siblings, they frequently act as informal mediators. This repeated exposure to conflict resolution builds perspective-taking ability and emotional balancing skill that becomes extremely valuable in adulthood. Because middle children rarely occupy a clearly defined family role early on, they often create their own identity pathways. This encourages independence in thought and a willingness to explore unconventional solutions. Over time, this strengthens innovation capacity and psychological flexibility. Middle children also benefit from distributed expectations. Parents tend to apply slightly less performance pressure compared to the firstborn and slightly fewer protective restrictions compared to the youngest. This balanced environment promotes autonomy without isolation, supporting healthy confidence development. Another advantage involves alliance formation. Middle children frequently maintain strong friendships outside the family earlier than their siblings. This strengthens peer bonding ability and social network construction. In adulthood, these individuals often excel in collaborative environments and group leadership roles that require consensus building. From an evolutionary standpoint, middle children historically contributed stability to sibling groups by maintaining cohesion between dominant and dependent members. This stabilizing role enhanced survival in cooperative societies. Today, it often appears as emotional intelligence, fairness orientation, and strong teamwork capability. Youngest children. Youngest children develop powerful creativity and persuasion advantages because they enter families already shaped by established routines. Rather than shaping structure themselves, they learn to navigate existing systems efficiently. Parents typically relax rules slightly by the time the youngest child arrives. This creates a developmental environment with greater experimentation freedom. As a result, youngest children frequently develop high openness to experience and strong exploratory thinking. Another hidden advantage involves humor as a communication strategy. Younger siblings often learn early that humor attracts attention and diffuses tension. Over time, this becomes a refined social skill that enhances charisma and public communication ability. Youngest children also benefit from multiple mentors within the household. Instead of learning exclusively from parents, they learn from siblings at different developmental stages simultaneously. This layered learning environment accelerates observational intelligence and behavioral adaptability. Evolutionarily, youngest children historically contributed innovation to family groups by exploring alternatives rather than maintaining tradition. This tendency still appears today in entrepreneurial thinking, artistic experimentation, and unconventional career paths. Because youngest children grow up interacting with older individuals consistently, they often become comfortable engaging across age groups. This improves networking ability and increases confidence in diverse social environments. Only children. Only children experience one of the most concentrated developmental environments of any birth order position. Without sibling competition for parental attention, they often receive consistent language exposure, structured guidance, and emotional feedback throughout early childhood. This sustained adult interaction strengthens vocabulary precision, reasoning ability, and comfort communicating with authority figures. As adults, only children frequently demonstrate strong independence combined with confidence in structured environments. Another advantage involves uninterrupted identity formation. Only children are not required to differentiate themselves from siblings. Instead, they develop self-definition based primarily on personal interest exploration. This produces strong intrinsic motivation and clarity of goals. Only children also benefit from early responsibility parity with adults. Because they often participate in conversations and routines designed for older individuals, they develop maturity signals earlier than average. This supports leadership readiness and decision-making confidence later in life. From an evolutionary perspective, only children historically represented high-investment offspring in resource-limited environments. Parents concentrated protection and teaching on a single individual, increasing survival probability. Today, this pattern appears as strong planning ability, academic persistence, and independence comfort. Only children frequently excel in self-directed careers because they are accustomed to managing time and goals without sibling coordination demands. Twins and same-age siblings. Twins develop one of the most unique social advantages in human development. Growing up alongside someone at the exact same developmental stage strengthens cooperative problem-solving earlier than most children experience. Because twins share milestones simultaneously, they often develop synchronized communication patterns. This strengthens empathy recognition, nonverbal signaling ability, and rapid collaboration skill. Another hidden advantage involves identity contrast learning. Even identical twins must establish individuality despite shared genetics. This process strengthens self-awareness and role negotiation ability earlier than average. Twins also benefit from continuous peer interaction inside the home environment. This constant companionship improves teamwork comfort and reduces social anxiety in unfamiliar group settings later in life. Anthropologically, twins historically increase survival odds in cooperative societies by forming built-in alliances. Today, this often appears as strong partnership skills in friendships, business collaboration, and long term relationships. Large family, later born children. Children born later in large families develop exceptional observational intelligence because they grow up surrounded by multiple behavioral models simultaneously. Instead of learning from one or two individuals, they interpret patterns across several personalities. This strengthens adaptability and role switching ability. Later born children in large families often become skilled at adjusting communication style depending on context. Another advantage involves resource navigation efficiency. Growing up in environments where attention and materials are shared teaches strategic timing, negotiation, and cooperation skills that support resilience in adulthood. Evolutionarily, later born children in large groups increase survival by expanding skill specialization across sibling networks. This flexibility remains visible today as multitasking ability and comfort in dynamic environments. Blended family birth order shifts. Children who experience birth order changes through blended families develop one of the strongest perspective advantages of any group. Moving from youngest to middle or from only child to older sibling requires rapid identity adaptation. This strengthens cognitive flexibility and emotional interpretation skill. Individuals exposed to shifting sibling structures often become especially capable of adjusting to change later in life. Another hidden advantage involves expanded empathy range. Experiencing multiple family roles increases understanding of both authority expectations and dependency needs simultaneously. From a developmental standpoint, these transitions train resilience by encouraging rapid role learning. As adults, this often appears as adaptability in complex workplaces and diverse social settings. Adopted birth order roles. Sometimes children assume roles that differ from their chronological birth order. For example, a younger sibling may take responsibility earlier due to circumstance. These adopted roles strengthen role switching intelligence and increase behavioral flexibility. Because these individuals experience both structured and exploratory expectations, they often develop balanced leadership and creativity traits simultaneously. Evolutionarily, flexible role adoption improved group survival by allowing families to adjust responsibilities quickly during environmental change. Today, this translates into adaptability across careers and social structures. Birth order does not determine destiny, but it shapes early environments that influence communication style, decision-making patterns, leadership tendencies, and social strengths in subtle and measurable ways. Understanding your position in your family structure helps explain why certain skills feel natural, while others require more effort. And recognizing these patterns allows you to use them intentionally. Keep learning, keep embracing what makes you unique. Subscribe and explore the science that makes you extraordinary.